Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome along as the scene is set for the final battleground of the iGPFun Super Formula Lights League Season 2 for 2025, and none other than a fitting location in the Ardennes Forest as the Circuit de Spa Francorchamps hosts the 12th and final round. You join myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and I'll be joined in the booth on this particular broadcast with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. James Parfitt. This 7.004 kilometre circuit. We're going to be running on the historic Grand Prix side of things, and it is going to be very, very interesting. There are 30 cars on the grid, as it is not that far away from Tony Jimenez for potentially picking up Season 2 crown. He's been on the podium for pretty much every single race up until this point, apart from round 8 at the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. He's secured 3 wins, or 3 second places, 3 thirds, and 3 pole positions. There's a lot of threes in there, James Parfitt.
Yeah, there definitely is for Tony, but it's good to see he's having a great season. Well deserved there as well. He's done a great job this season by the looks of it. At the same time, we are just coming towards the end of qualifying now, and then we will be up and running for the race itself. Let's have a look and see what we've got going on with the race this time around, Alex. It's going to be very, very interesting indeed. 22 laps of Spa that these drivers have got to contend with. Could be very, very tough on tyres. We will find that out as it goes. The purple zone on that run through El Rouge and Radion. No active overtakes, of course, as well, until they get the run down the Camels. Going to be interesting to see how these guys do.
Yeah, and then, of course, not that far away from this time, folks, we'll be doing our race for the Vimala Centre in Mumbai in India. We'll be raising money for a fantastic cause, and entries are still very much open for that at the moment. The checkered flag is out, and Bahadin Ayan from Turkey has, at the moment, been the fastest driver out there. Jakub Olejewski, Polish driver, has had luck on his side and then has not had luck on his side. Then we've got Adam Talsma, who's on an outlap as the checkered flag is out for the Scuderia Racing Forces, the number 7 car. There's Lee Aberdeen, the Australian, always one who's been very, very exciting to watch this season. Picks up a win last time out at Mount Panorama at Bathurst in New South Wales, but he only puts the number 1 car on P3. Tony Jimenez, the man from Spain, a matador of the season so far. All the threes. Can he go and secure that elusive crown for iGPFun Super Formula Lights as one of the Scuderia Racing Forces cars decides to go, curb Paul Frere. I'll cut the grass, I'll do a Valtteri Bottas, but yeah, looks like a cool down lap for Tony Jimenez, but we're going to have 33 cars around what would normally be half of a full Formula 1 Grand Prix distance, normally 44 laps. We're going to be doing 22. I think the biggest things that we're going to see here tonight, a lot of speed here, James, especially going from Eau Rouge et Radion up towards Les Combes via the infamous Kemmel Straight. We could see 3-4 wide at points.
Oh, you definitely could. You definitely could. The guy's got to be mindful of what they're going to do here. Baden Ayan, Jakub Olejewski, Ali Aberdeen and Tony Jimenez going to be leading the field, of course, so it's going to be imperative that they get the run first if they can, but it's how they're going to handle if they're going to be too wide. There's 33 cars on this racetrack this evening, Alex, and it's going to make it very, very interesting indeed.
Yeah, so qualifying has come to an end at the iconic Circuit de Spa Francorchamps, a fantastic location for racing. So here is your starting grid. Bahadin Ayan starts on pole position with Jakub Olejewski alongside. Lee Aberdeen and Tony Jimenez round out row 2. Eunice Amal and Andy Flint row 3. Row 4, it's Kevin Swenstra and Thomas Regien. Brad Fulligar and Dennis Cornu round out the top 10 ahead of Krish Patel, Koji Ito, Kevin Byland, Robert Ridgway, Tibor Habiyard, Mehmet Tashi. Then we got Andrzej Wyrzykowski, Julian Colbert, Max Invictus, Scott Taylor rounding out the top 20. Eddie Amos, David Butler, Adam Talsma, Ben Goyette, Patrick Williams, Lewis Archer, Alain van der Heuvel, John McKenzie, Oscar Artinano, Dorian Arroyo, Simon Eberg, Matthew Gracie, and Chris Vales being the last of the 33 drivers that have qualified here. We're going to be starting from the run halfway down the classic pit straight. So it's going to be a short run to Eau Rouge So they've got to be very much on the pace very, very early indeed. We're waiting for a few of the drivers to grid up ready for this 22-lap adventure into the unknown. And what a run there by Bahadinayan to take pole position for the final race of the championship seasons. Pole sitters so far this season, Suzuka, Max Invictus, then it was Tony Jimenez at the Algarve and then Road America. Jesper Sandström has taken 4 pole positions this season. Hungaroring, Hockenheimring, Nürburgring and Manicure. Jimenez did it at Portimao, Road America and Motegi. Also had Boris Lyson, Lee Aberdeen amongst that list, along with Jordan McDonnell. So the 33 cars are ready, primed and lined up for 22 laps of racing for the season finale. The revs rise. And it's a long hole, but a little bit of wheel spin from Bahadinayan. Good start by Jakub Oleszewski as Tony Jimenez looks to the inside line of Lee Aberdeen, slots in behind the Australian as they go up the hill through Eau Rouge et Radion for the first time here on lap 1 out of 22. And Oleszewski looking to swing to the outside down the Camel Straight for the first time. The Polish driver against the Turk on the front row, and look, they are all fanning out, 3 wide possibly, as Aberdeen, and that's Yunus Amal that's got round the outside. Bahadinayan, look at Lee Aberdeen, keeps it round the outside through the second part of the Lecom as they go through Malmedy, now down into Bruxelles, that tight hairpin, as Jimenez has lost a couple of places. He's dropped down behind Regien and Flint. Well, he's got back past Flint, but Bahadinayan got a little bit of wheel spin off the start. Aberdeen runs wide. They come out of no name. Down the hill they go into Pouhon for the first time, but Bahadinayan taking early command of this race here, James. A good clean start, everyone making it through on lap 1 out of 22 so far.
Yeah, no real dramas for anybody at the moment. They've all managed to hold on to where they are. Couple of changes in the mix as well. Yunus Amal, well, he was up 1. He's now just lost that place to Thomas Rejean, who's there as well. We've got Julian Colbert, Andrei Vaskowski, and Mehmet Taski have all gained positions at the same time. Fibard Rabelard has lost 4 places at this moment in time, so not too good from him, but he surely will have time. We've got 22 laps. They're just coming towards the end of lap number 1. The first run through Blanchimont at the moment, and you can see Lee Aberdeen sitting in that 3rd place, Oleszewski in 2nd, Bahadinayan in first place, Thomas Rejean, Yunus Amal in behind that as well. The unique racing of Yunus Amal. There was an incident for Andy Flint.
At the bus stop, that's not where you want to lose it, but also Patrick Williams lost quite a few positions on the race, the opening lap. He's lost 8 places down in Stone Dead last in 33rd. Andy Flint was having to wait. Meantime, look at this scrap. Jimenez stuck in the middle of it. You've got Kevin Swemstra, Tony Jimenez, Brad Fullergart, Dennis Cornu, Violent amongst them along with that as they go up the hill again on lap 2 out of 22 here at Spa. Brad Fullergard being pressurised by the Unity team racing driver of Francis Dennis Cornu, who looks to the outside down the Camel Straight to get a little bit of side draft on the Bridgeway racing driver. Feels a little bit like Senna and Mansell back in the early 90s as Cornu ducks out of it, lets Fullergard back through, does not want to have any incidents at this early part of the lap here at Spa Francorchamps. So there's a long way to get round to pit lane, and especially you get punted from behind. All dramas there for Andrzej Wieczkowski.
Yeah.
He's dropped down big time. Started 17th, now 25th. There's a bit of a melee in the background. Van der Herve, Butelaar, also involved. John McKenzie finds himself in pit lane, the number 42. As concentrate now on the battle with Yunus Amal, the leading Unity racing driver, the Moroccan, ahead of Thomas Regien, the number 10 from France. So the top 5 are very equally matched at the moment, with Regien the fastest lap of the race, 2 minute 14.580 as they go out of Stavelot and run through Coeur-Paul Frère on the run to Blanchimont at high speed. They'll be pushing probably the best part of about 140 plus miles an hour. The Altendalia Racing Team number 10, Thomas Regien, 240 plus kilometers an hour, did not lift going through Blanchimont at nearly 250 kph. Hard on the brakes, as we ride on the front wing end cam of Thomas Regiat through the bus stop. As Lee Aberdeen getting a bit frisky round the outside through the second phase of the bus stop. That was a brilliant move by the Aussie.
Yeah, through he goes in the second. He's now got Bayon in front of him, lap 2 of 22 here. This is where the run's going to be paying effect. Keep an eye on the speed on the right-hand side. They're going to be topping north of 2+, I think, on this one. Here we go, to run down the hill. They're going to come now. In through the El Rouge, through the left-hander, up through Radion, coming up over the hill. They go onto the Camel Straight. It's going to be 250 kph plus under the draft. They're going to fan out. They're going to start going 3 wide already. Bayon Ayan's going to lose 2 places here if he's not careful. Aberdeen's got the run on him, as is Olesvinsky, but it's Aberdeen on the inside, Olesvinsky on the outside. He's going to try and go round. Ayan manages to get 1 place back. Olesvinsky's not careful. He nearly lost a place there to Yunus Amal at the same time of the defence. Look at all the gravel they've picked up coming out of there.
Yeah, and Regiat looking up the inside of Yunus Amal. That's through at Bruxelles for P4. These cars topping out at around about 160 miles an hour as everyone goes skirting through the gravel off of No Name. Tony Jimenez, the man who has been the tour de force, 3 pole positions, 3 wins, 3 seconds, and 3 thirds at the moment. But can he make a bit of an indent? Because whilst the top 5 is squabbling away, he is going to close in. He's about 1.1 seconds behind the Moroccan Yunus Amal in P5 as they go down through the hill into Lifagne and now into Campus and into Stavlo. Big run wide there by the Moroccan in 5th. But Lee Aberdeen, the Australian, hits the front of the field, followed closely by the Turkish iRacing Formula Team ace of Bahadine Ayan through into Curpul and into Blanchimont at over 145 miles an hour. The Turk trying to go round the outside. That is a brave move by the number 89. He's looking to get back to the head of the field. Is he going to go late to the brakes in front of Lee Aberdeen? The answer is yes. And he's back through to retake the race lead. Olejewski finding nowhere to go.
Yeah, Iron there. I don't really know what we can say about that one apart from, oh my God, that was incredible. Round the outside he went, a Blanchimont as well. Fearless there. Lee Aberdeen had nowhere to go. It's going to be a constant swap here, Alex. I think that's going to be the problem. It's going to be a constant backwards and forwards. We've lost Max Victors. Chris Vale has had some drama. Mehmet Taski's been off the side of the circuit as well. And I think this is going to be a continuation here. Watch the draft from Aberdeen. You really actually should be watching for Olesvinsky here because he's going to get the draft on Aberdeen. Aberdeen's going to get the draft from Bayon and Ayan. And at the moment, he'll be finding out who's going to be able to go where.
Make this a 6-horse race now as Tony Jimenez is less than half a second behind Yunus Amal going into Lecom on board with Olejewski in the number 57, the Polish driver for Modern Racing Prince GP, as we go down through Malmedy, the right-hander, and into hard braking zone from 5th gear down to 2nd through Bruxelles, tight on the apex by Olejewski, get the run through 80 miles an hour, and the speed climbs as we go through No Name Corner. Pick up the gravel by Bahadine Ayan, who continues to lead on what is now lap 4 out of 22. Here we are on board briefly with Tony Jimenez. A little bit of a lift through the first part of Pouhon, but now at over 140 plus miles an hour. 6th gear into Campus and Lifagne. And really, really nice tight lines taken by the Spaniard for the SRP racing team. And the top 6 covered by a second and a half. This is going to be incredibly close as they come out of Campus and into Stavelot, now into Coeur-Paul Frere. And it is going to be the case of who has the biggest amount of guts to go for it here at Spa. And Jimenez knows that he's just got to secure a really, really good and solid amount of points. If he gets on the podium, that's it. That's all she wrote, and no one can take the title away from him as they fan out a little bit further in front. Olejewski looking up the inside of Aberdeen. Going into the first part of the bus stop, can't get through. Regiat waiting to pick up the pieces. Gets the drag on the pole as they head up to La Source. Soon will complete our 4th lap of this race. Jimenez looking to stick his nose up the inside of Yunus Amal. Through into La Source, thinks better of it. Bahadine Ayan trying to break the toe in front of Lee Aberdeen, who's going to go round towards the outside and get the inside line here for Orhul. And Aberdeen's going to make it stick. Great move there by the Australian. Another impressive move. But over the crest they go through Radion. And now it's 4 jockeying for position. Oleszewski does not know where to go. And here comes Thomas Hejien. It's 4 wide. It's nearly 4 wide down the Kemmel Straight. And who's going to be the latest on the brakes? It's going to be Lee Aberdeen, but he gets touched into a Bahadina. He goes, and Thomas Hejien was there at the right place, right time. He takes the race lead.
Oh, there as well, and that was a 3 wide scenario going into Lacombe. Oleszewski, Aberdeen, Bayern, and then they ended up coming together. And unfortunately for Aberdeen, that is all she wrote. He's got no rear wing on that car. He's going to have to try and get it back to pit lane. Regian, Oleszewski, Unisamal, Tony Jimenez still fighting out here. Jimenez is being very, very careful, and he's being very, very smart indeed. I like this Tony Jimenez we've got this season. He's gone out, as you say, he's got free of everything, and now is he going to change on this one? But he's being very clever at the moment here. He's not doing anything crazy. He's sitting in behind the front three. He's already gained 2 positions because they've had it coming together, and for Tony Jimenez, this is literally his swan song. He can literally finish this off, wrap this up. Jobs are good, and Fanny's your aunt. It's all going to be done here for Tony Jimenez, and he's just got to stay where he is. He hasn't got anything to do anything crazy, and he'll take the championship win.
Well, considering the fact that his nearest rival, Dennis Cornu, all the way down in 8th position. Heartbreak for Lee Aberdeen. He's actually gone off track as well. No rear wing on the number 1 for the Australian. And, well, Tony Jimenez, as you said, just being very, very cautious. Crossing the T's, dotting the I's, not making any huge moves. Like when we saw him sticking his nose towards the inside of Unisamal here at La Source. He thought better of it, went, I'm just going to show him my nose, tell him that I'm there. And that is a better strategy around this particular circuit, where you are at full throttle for more than 70%. As we start lap 6 out of 22. Bahadina, no surprise, is in the pit lane. Lee Aberdeen now running 26, as here we go. They're going to fan out a little bit. Oleszewski and Hejien side by side down the Kemmel Straight. Unisamal, where's he going to put the car? He's going to, oh, he nearly went 2 wheels on the grass. He can't go piggy in the middle there. That nearly gave Oleszewski a little bit of a fright as Hejien retakes the race lead going into Lecombe. Down the hill they go through Malmedy, then into Bruxelles, but Oleszewski nearly had the opportunity of firing up the inside, but thought better of it. And it's a case of trying to keep yourself within a hunt of a top 5, top 10 championship position. But at the moment, yeah, Tony Jimenez just being Mr. Ultra Careful.
Yeah, he's just got to keep it nice and sensible at the moment as Jimenez as well. We've got Kevin Byland, he's got Denny Cornu closing in. We got Folliger there as well. He's got Lewis Archer in behind Kevin Swemstra, and Robert Ridgway tucked in right behind him. This is a 4-car fight with Eddie Amos just a second off the back. Ben Goyette, Scotty Taylor, Adam Townsman, Oscar Artinanu are all very close together as well. That's kind of where the battles are happening at the moment. Archer is CubaWorks F2 team trying to go around there as well. I think Kevin Swemstra's going to make it through. He's going to battle him out side by side. Coming through now, but he doesn't. Swemstra does get past Archer, and unfortunately for Archer, he does lose that place. Ridgway now tucked in, having a go at Archer as well. And for Robert Ridgway, it's going to be a run out through Kurt Paul Ferrer, coming into left-hander or Blanchimont. And is he going to make a move here? Does he know where to go, Alex? That's going to be the question for Robert Ridgway.
He's going to have to stay behind Archer, but he's going to pull it to the right-hand side. Is he going to lift? No, he doesn't. No lift at all in the Super Formula Lights cars. Is he going to go heavy on the brakes? Park it to the outside of Archer. Archer very, very close to Kevin Swemstra, trying to get the crisscross here out of the chicane. And Archer is going to pull alongside Swemstra. Look, they're millimetres apart. They are nearly interlocking wheels on the braking zone. Archer's going to force the issue around the outside of Swemstra, who goes tight to the inside line. And then Archer manages to respond, gets the slingshot out on a source, whereas Ridgway is just sitting there waiting like an anticipated spectator. Meantime, Oleszewski retakes the race lead off of Hejien, who's going to be up the inside here on lap 7 out of 22. And the pair are wheel to wheel on the run down through into Malmedy. Hejien retakes the race lead from Oleszewski. Unisamal and Jimenez are being very, very cautious. They don't want to upset the apple cart. They want to see the two in front battle away. But Oleszewski is between a rock and a hard place at the moment as they come through No Name Corner. Then it's the double left that they'll be taking at about 130 miles an hour in the first part of Pujon. Then you're going to be on the accelerator and go to top speed, heading towards Lifagne. The cane coming up very shortly before Campus and Stavolo. And again, just Tony Jimenez. I like this new character he's developed. That he's really, we've seen him be really up at the sharp end of the grid. And this season, he has put that package together really nicely. As we've had a drama for, well, Max Invictus has come back onto the circuit with that iRacing connection ping warning. Here we've got the battle between Archer and Svemstra, still over 14th. They've got Eddie Amos not too far behind, who I think, if memory serves me correctly, is battling with Max Invictus, funnily enough, for the 3500 championship this season. So it has been really nip and tuck between the pair of them. But at the front end of the field, I mean, Swemstra has just got through on Archer with a very clinical millimetre perfect move.
Yeah, they're still running side by side though into the bus stop. Archer, oh mate, squeeze Swemstra a little bit. He did squeeze Kevin Swemstra a little bit. Everybody makes it through after that, but he did give Swemstra a little bit of a squeeze there. Did Archer, and there was a little bit of internet involved in that one. There was a little bit of internet. Townsmere in the background. He's got Patrick Williams there with Robert Ridgway, who's just gone into pit lane as Ridgway, but Region and Oleswinski going again. Eunice Amal, Tony Jimenez, they stay as they are. What about Denny Cornu? He's not going to be able to clear Kevin Byland either for the run up at this through El Rouge and Radion here. And these guys continuing to fight it out as well. But that was a little bit of a squeeze by Archer. And then the old internet decided, well, you're too close, and I'm going to take it as you've had a crash.
That blasted internet does wonders in this world of sim racing.
Oh, mate, it's always the way, isn't it? That's the thing, though. When you've got so many drivers from everywhere, and I do mean everywhere, France, Morocco, Spain, Poland, Sweden, America, Turkey, Great Britain,
Japan.
Wales, Canada, Japan, India, Portugal, they're from literally everywhere. That's always going to happen.
Exactly. Ben Goyette from Canada has just dropped the car, I'm afraid. So the number 36 has... that's not where you want to lose the car. That's going down into no-name corner. But he rejoins the number 36 for Modern Racing Prince GP. Oh, what's happened to Jakub Olejewski? Oh, he's dropped out of the top two battle. Olejewski has had dramas at this stage of the race.
He's disconnected. He's disconnected because I can't find him anywhere on the racetrack at the moment. But Jakub Oleswinski, literally, he was back. Yeah, he's just disconnected.
Well, what that has meant is that Thomas Regien has the best part of nearly a 9.5 tenth of a second lead over Eunice Amal. Tony Jimenez is pretty much where he needs to be. Needed a podium to convincingly take the Season 2 title. And we are about to start lap 9 out of 22. There's a kick up of dust coming out of the source. Dennis Cornu still closing in on Kevin Byland, the Swede in the number 19, who has made up 9 places so far. Shout out to Julien Colbert and Max Invictus. They both have made up 10 places apiece. They're on 8th and 9th. Here goes Dennis Cornu round the outside of Kevin Byland. Slipstream ahoy. Wheel to wheel. Is Cornu going to chance it around the outside? He's going to give it a chance. He might just get it done, but Byland's got the outside line. This is going to give the Swede the inside line for Malmedy, and the Swede is back through. Great racing between this duo as they fight it out going to Bluebell.
Yeah, great run from them as well. Excuse me a minute.
Gesundheit.
Thank you. Very inappropriate time there as well, having a good old sneeze. It's one of them, unfortunately. Not a lot I can do about that. But Denny Cornu, Kevin Byland scrubbing it out. Great job from them as they continue in their fight. They started getting a little bit more spread out as well. Simon Aberg is in a mix with Ben Goyette a little bit further back, but it's coming really around about here with Tony Jimenez. He's trying to keep up with Eunice Amal. Amal's trying to keep up with Region. Obviously, Oleswinski with his disconnect, and behind that we've got Byland and Denny Cornu, who are not leaving each other alone here, Alex, at this moment in time.
Yeah, just an update on the other drivers affected in that massive scrap. Just Bahadinayan down to 22nd. Lee Aberdeen closing in on Robert Ridgway. Well, Matthew Gracie. Lee Aberdeen now 27th. As Dennis Cornu again goes back into battle for Ding Ding round, whatever you want to call it, here for 4th place as they go through the bus stop. And then we're going to be closing in on half distance very, very shortly. Our leaders have come through La Source, and that is Regia, followed by Amal, Jimenez in P3. Now it's going to be Byland and Cornu. Shout out to Krish Patel, the American driver in the in 6th place. He's made up 5 spots. He's ahead of Mehmet Tashi. Started 15th, now runs P7. Cornu right in the slipstream. Up Rouge et Radiant. They'll get the slipstream again. Thanks to the dirty air. I hope you get any aero wash courtesy of Kevin Byland. Where is Dennis Cornu going to place the car? Well, Byland slightly drifts over to the right-hand side, then puts it back on the racing line. Cornu just stays in the wheel tracks for the moment.
Byland's got to be careful of that. I do apologise.
Oh, Jimenez has got through on Amal.
Yeah, they just closed swap positions going into Leclerc. And Amal there did lose that position to Jimenez. Jimenez does make it through, but Byland needs to be a bit careful with the old Tinternet in behind. He did have a bit of a blink there. You can see in the background Krish Patel closing in on the mix as well. Great job from him. Julian Colbert, another one. Max Victor's gained position. Fibar Rabelard, Lewis Archer have all gained position as well. So a great job from all of these guys as they continue to fight out. You can see Kevin Byland holding on from Denny Cornu here frantically at this moment in time.
Yeah, Cornu's got the bit firmly between his teeth and is trying to get through on the Swede in front, but this is allowing Krish Patel to get within 5.5 tenths of a second of the Frenchman from Unity Racing just in front. So very shortly we'll be going on to lap number 11. Thomas Rigiat, the leader by just over 2.1 seconds, has the fastest lap of the race, 2 minute 8.805. Fastest lap from Jimenez, 2:09.1. Yunus Amala 2:09.3, Kevin Byland high 2:09.3. Dennis Cornu goes towards the outside of the braking zone into the bus stop chicane as Kevin Byland keeps it nice and clean, and Krish Patel is now making this a 3-horse race for the first of the positions outside of the top 3 on the rostrum. So Byland doing a really good defensive job on Cornu, who's now stuck between a rock and a hard place as he's got to attack Byland whilst also defending against Patel. New fastest lap again by Thomas Regiat, 2:08.718. Tony Jimenez goes into the 2:08s by 2/1000ths of a second on that previous tour as we're on lap 11, running aboard with the number 3 of Krish Patel. Cornu to the outside of Byland. Patel getting an absolute slingshot and a half. Is he going to make it 3 wide? He's backed out of there. That was good. That was a good decisive manoeuvre there by Krish Patel. He does not want to end up 3 wide. And then we have the pinball wizardry scenario down the Kemmel Straight. He's done really, really well as Krish Patel. Shout out to him.
Yeah, he did do a great job there. Krish Patel backed out of a 3 wide scenario. Would I have loved them to see them go 3 wide? Absolutely. But for him, he did err on the side of caution on that one. Yunus Amal still tucked in behind Tony Jimenez. They're still scrapping it out. You can see Cornu getting close to Byland. Archer is still having a bit of a ding-dong further down. And Adam Townsma is also in his own little scrap here at the same time. So lots of fights all the way up and down the field as we normally expect here with iGP as these guys continue to scrap it out.
Yeah, some other battles happening at the moment. Battle for 10th between Thibaut Rabillard and Brad Fullegar for 10th. Then Scott Taylor versus Lewis Archer for 14th. Patrick Williams and Andy Flint for 16th. Kevin Swemstra and Adam Talsma for 18th. And Lee Aberdeen closing in on Robert Ridgway for 24th at the moment. Still, the immovable object that is Sweden's Kevin Byland is getting Dennis Cornu very, very frustrated, I'm sure, at the moment, as we're about to hit half distance here at the final round of Season 2, 2025 iGPFun Super Formula Lights here at Spa Francorchamps, where you join myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and James Barfitt here on the JP Broadcasting Network. Of course, don't forget we've got the Formula Giving Race for the Vimala Centre in Mumbai in India coming up very soon. Oh, moment there for Kevin Byland. He applied the power, and that is going to allow Cornu to get the run. Is he going to pull it to the outside? On the run down to Eau Rouge et Radiant, the Frenchman is going to nose ahead, and finally, he's gotten through, but only because of the mistake by Byland coming out of the source.
Yeah, watch this though. Byland's going to go and sneak in, get some of the draft. He's going to try and go again. Krish Patel's coming once more. Is he going to think about this free wide? Is he going to think about it? They're almost touching wheels. Byland's going to try and run around the outside. No, Patel's going to try and have a go. Can't do it there for Krish Patel. And at the moment, he manages to hold on, but they got very, very close together, as did Eunice Amal and also Tony Jimenez. Rabillard there as well. Scotty Taylor, Lewis Archer. They're 2 by 2 with Patrick Williams and Andy Flynn here as well on lap 12. Through they go. Archer's going to try and hold on. No!
Oh, no!
There's contact with Archer.
Oh, and he's lost part of... Oh, that's not a place you want to spin the car around, right in the racing line. Lewis Archer has lost the left-hand side of the main airbox covering, a bit like when we had a Toro Rosso or an AlphaTauri deciding to implode its airbox covering in quite spectacular fashion. Lewis Archer's, however, was knocked off when he smacked the barrier, and there you see the inside, the inner workings of a Super Formula Lights car. Radiator, turbocharger, wastegate, coolant pipes, all exposed.
Yeah, for Lewis Archer, he's getting a free little bit of airflow there, unfortunately for him, but he's going to have to try and see if he can maintain that. Byland again with Cornu still fighting it out here, side by side. Byland manages to hold on. Cornu's there. I'm not quite sure of Krish Patel's philosophy at the moment. I don't get what he's trying to do, Alex. I think that's the worrying thing for me at the moment.
Is he trying to take a play out of the book of Tony Jimenez by any chance?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. He's kind of very, very patient, especially when he's had runs like he is now. He's going to get a run here for Krish Patel. I'm just not quite sure what he's kind of doing at the moment and whether or not he's actually trying to make a move or if he's saving tyres here.
And also saving fuel. That's going to be quite important around a lap here at Spa. You want to have that extra, like, 0.3, 0.5 of a litre of fuel. But now here goes Krish Patel. He's nearly made it 3 wide. And again, decides, no, I'm going to back out of it. Biden back through on Cornu. Retakes 4th. So 4th to 6th. 3 wide now. Oh, dearie me. As, no.
3 of them off.
Bulgar, Tashi and Invictus out off the circuit. And, well, who have they got closing in on them? They've got...
Rabillard in behind him.
Rabillard and Koji Ito as well, the Japanese driver. So this is going to be a 5-horse race over this particular position, being led by Brad Fulligar. Actually trying to do what he can. Max Invictus for Ridgeway Racing Setups, and the 07 rounds out the top 10. It's only 3 places ahead of Eddie Amos, so it could be very, very close at the end of the season. Reference the 3500 Drivers' Championship. So we do have 2 respective classes running within the iGPFun side of things for Super Formula Lights. But I know it's very, very close. And I think if Amos just keeps within a handful of positions of Invictus, then that's it, job done for him. Eddie Amos will be the 3500 champion. But Fulligar has just... I think he's just copped a slowdown, yes. Brad Fulligar, big slowdown. Invictus round the outside, Rabillard round the outside. Out of all places, Blanchimont. And now Fulligar can be back up to full racing speed. And is he going to do a dive bomb? Oh, there's a dive bomb and a half there from Koji Ito, I believe. And the Team M-Tech driver, unfortunately, ran out of road.
He definitely did there, unfortunately for him. But Krish Patel has cleared Danny Cornu now, finally. Now he's going to have a go with Byland. But Cornu's surely going to come back at him here.
Yeah, very much the case. Krish Patel to the right-hand side of Kevin Byland as the Swede and the American are wheel-to-wheel. Where is Dennis Cornu going to place his car? When it's that kind of gap between the 2 drivers in front, you do not want to go piggy in the middle. Try and thread the eye of the needle. Cornu decides discretion being the better part of valor. So we're on lap 14 out of 22. And Patel gets through on Byland. Now they head through into Bruxelles. So Patel up to 4th place. Good work there by the number 3 for Ridgeway Racing Astronauts as they head through No Name Corner. Then it's the run down to Pouon. Cornu kicking up the grass and the dust a little bit. They've got Julien Colbert not too far behind. He's made up 11 places from 18th on the grid and now runs a genuine 7th. As more dramas for Lewis Archer. He's just come out of pit lane after, well, Lewis Archer has not had a good one. He was battling away with Kevin Swemstra. Those two came together. And, well, Swemstra's currently still sitting in 15th place. So Lewis Archer, second pit stop of the night. And that's really going to put paid to his what he hoped was going to be a good effort in this final round of season 2.
Yeah, so I'm trying to have a go here. Let's see how these guys get on. Denny Cornu with Byland and Krish Patel. Fulagar in there as well. You can see, but the front three, Region, Jimenez and Yunus Amal seem settled. Is everybody in behind that at the moment? Fulagar's got Invictus. They're running side by side down into the bus stop as well. Invictus manages to hold on. But it's going to be the run again here, Alex, that these three are going to be battling out.
Yeah, as we now start lap 15 out of 22. Tony Jimenez sets a personal best as Krish Patel leads this trio, being followed by Kevin Byland and Dennis Cornu. Cornu being slightly dropped here as they go up the hill through into Eau Rouge et Radiant. Byland had to instinctively jerk the steering to the right-hand side to keep out of the way of the rear wing of Krish Patel. And here goes Dennis Cornu. He has got enough room to make it 3 wide. Down the Kemmel straight. Who's going to be the bravest on the brakes? It is going to be Cornu. Patel around the outside of Byland. Holds on, but loses a place to Dennis Cornu. Cornu teed that up perfectly down the Kemmel straight as Krish Patel runs wide coming out of Malmedy.
Yeah, he did there, and Cornu has now gone through. Patel is now sitting still ahead of Byland, but it's still a swapping of positions. Through No Name they go on the run down to Pouon here as these guys are continuing to fight and scrap away. This is for 4th, 5th and 6th overall. Julien Colbert is not too far back. You can see these guys fighting and it has been closing in as well. 15 and 22, we've got 7 to go, and at the moment this man from SRP is going to be champion.
Tony Jimenez has not put a foot wrong all night long. He qualified P4 and has kept his nose and his powder very, very dry tonight. So is Thomas Regien, who we saw in that battle with Lee Aberdeen, Jakub Olajewski and Bahadine Ayan before that 3 wide moment. Took 2 of the drivers out. And then, of course, dramas for Olajewski with the disconnect. But Tony Jimenez needs to just bring that car home. Second is going to be more than enough to secure the Season 2 crown here at iGPFun. And what a drive it has been for the Spaniard this season. And he's on course to breaking the run of 3s. 3 pole positions, 3 race wins, 3 seconds, 3 thirds, and with a 4th podium, 4th second place. Thomas Regien's treating this like a qualifying session at the moment. He's just put in the fastest lap of the race, a 2-minute 8.563. But Dennis Cornu now starting to try and build a gap between himself and Krish Patel and Kevin Byland. Those 3 are now separated by about 1.2 seconds in total. But things are petering out in a lot of the top 10. But Patel has got through on Cornu. Invictus now right on the back bumper of Rabillard at the moment, as there's still quite a few battles up and down the order, but this man here deserves all the screen time he's being given at the moment.
Yeah, he does. He's done a great job for Tony Jimenez here at the same time. He's going to take his first championship, Alex. He picked up a first win towards the beginning of the season and has done an exceptional job. It was first win in like, I don't know, 18 months or something, I think it was. I look back through. It was absolutely mental. And now he's going to wrap up his first championship here as well. Tony Jimenez from SRP, stellar job. We've still got 6 laps to go, of course, but anything can happen. Dorian Aruro and Lee Aberdeen, Robert Ridgway are having their own little ding-dong a little bit further back, and a great job from all of them.
Now, good recovery here from Lee Aberdeen. Bahadine Ayan has made it up to 18th position, so is 3 ahead of the Australian, running with the #1 at the moment. I'm sure that Tony Jimenez will be, for the next season, running that #1 with pride on his SRP Racing team car for next season, because he's got a title to defend. And it's always great when you see these drivers compete tooth and nail here in iGPFun Super Formula Lights. It's so gratifying when you win that first title, but Tony Jimenez knows that the target will be squarely on the back of his rear wing, as we've just seen a car off. That was Scott Taylor in the number 19, who's dropped down to 24th position. As Thomas Regiat, another new fastest lap. Tony Jimenez goes and matches it. So a 2:08.545 for both drivers, as we will have coming up to 5 laps to go, as Chris Patel and Dennis Cornu, they have dropped Kevin Barnard, who's actually behind Julian Colbert. And now this is the battle, side by side. Cornu to the inside, Patel to the outside, down the Camel Straight at over 240 kilometres an hour. Cornu gets through with the slightest ease thanks to slipstream, but don't count out Chris Patel yet. I think the number 3 from the USA has got something still to say in these remaining few laps.
Yeah, I think you have. I think he's not going to let this go here. Patel's going to try and close in on Cornu. It's the closest battle inside the top 15 at the moment. And the Ridgeway Racing astronauts, Chris Patel with Denny Cornu from Unity, they've been continuing to fight here, Alex, and I don't think this is going to really rest up towards the end of this race either. I think these guys are going to be continuing to fight and continuing to scrap here. So let's see how these guys get on and whether or not they're going to be able to make this work. And what is Chris Patel going to do? He's had some patience all the way through. Is he going to be able to, well, go for it, I suppose would be the word.
Yeah, Oscar Artinanu, that we haven't really seen much of, the Spaniard that qualified down in 29th now, runs 18th. So 11 places gained by the Spaniard. And again, Chris Patel going through into Blanchimont, and Cornu still ahead, both not lifting off the throttle. It's going to be hard on the brakes very shortly for the bus stop chicane, whereas Chris Patel going to position the car well behind Dennis Cornu. Goes a little bit later on the brakes, but does not slam into the rear of the Unity Racing driver in front of him. So the gap between them about 2 and a bit tenths of a second as they cross the traditional start-finish straight. But we are using the classic layout, so the start-finish line, as Thomas Regiat does a 2:08.4. Tony Jimenez's last lap was exactly 2 tenths of a second slower, a 2:08.6. As Patel got the slipstream, he's going to have the run up the hill through Rouge et Radiant. As we've got 5 to go, including this one. We're on lap 18 out of 22, and the battle for 4th rages on. Chris Patel round the outside quite easily through the first half of the Camel Straight, but Dennis Cornu will not let him go. In the background there, I think that's Julian Colbert, who's about 4 seconds behind this battle, but that gap is slowly, corner by corner, starting to dwindle.
Yeah, Andy Flint and Eddie Amos are running side by side as well here. Down into Lecombe they go. Flint on the inside. He's just cleared Amos. So a great job from him. There's more action behind with Robert Ridgway and Oscar Artinanu. They're from XBD, continuing to fight Lee Aberdeen. This is going to be a straight drag as well. On board we go now. You can see Robert Ridgway just turned around and said, well, I'm going to go for it, son. Lee Aberdeen's been in pit lane. He's got his rear wing back, and he's now going to lose that position. No, Ridgway doesn't get it right. He goes in wrong there, Alex, and unfortunately for Robert Ridgway, Lee Aberdeen comes back through on him.
Yeah, Aberdeen was just carrying a bit too much a little bit too much more momentum in comparison with Robert Ridgway, who behind him has got that's Oscar Artinanu. As they both kick up the dust coming out of No Name, and then it's the run down to the Pouhon very shortly as Aberdeen turns it in, so does Ridgway, and they go very wide towards the outside of the second half of Pouhon, where you really, the first half of Pouhon you can really sort of get your way through, but now Invictus is battling away with Thibaut Rabillard. This is for 10th place on the road. And Invictus is only 3 places ahead of Eddie Amos. Let's see what happens here. Does the Ridgeway Racing setups number 7 have the run on the car in front, the number 32 for France? Not quite at the moment, but he's going to sweep to the outside, try and go for the crisscross here at the source. So we are now on to...
Oh, they're going to contact each other.
Max Invictus, you did not need to do that. And here comes Koji Ito, the Team M-Tech driver, swarming all over the back rear wings of both drivers. Up the hill they go. Through into
they've crashed!
Invictus is around! Invictus is around! Oh my goodness! At one of the fastest points of the circuit, Max Invictus has just towed it to pit lane. I think that's handed the 3500 title to the man in 12th, Eddie Amos.
Yeah. Great job from Eddie here, keeping this going at this moment in time. Stunning run from him. Fair play to him. I think it's going to be Amos's title now. I'll be very surprised if Invictus can get there. But Eddie Amos is just going to wrap up the 3500 title. He is ahead of Andy Flint at the moment. Lee Aberdeen and Robert Ridgway, they're still going side by side into Lacombe. And it looks like Aberdeen's got through again after they did swap places once already. But it's amazing now for Eddie Amos. He's been given a lifeline here, Alex. He's just got to make sure he can hang on to this, and he's got to try and do a good job in the process.
He's just got to bring that car home. Has the number 69 from Wales for Reckless Abandon Racing. And what a drama. Thibaut Javier and Max Invictus come together at one of the fastest points of the circuit, and both of them had to tow it to pit lane. It has cost Max Invictus a shot at the 3500 crown. And Eddie Amos, he might have Andy Flint behind him. The best thing for Eddie is just to get that car home. Yes, Andy Flint might be up his rear wing and diffuser, but just let him go. That's the best thing that he can do. There's Kevin Swemstra in the background. Eddie Amos, neatly as he does there, lets him through, and I'm sure that very shortly he'll extend the same courtesy to Kevin Swemstra.
Yeah, there's nothing he needs to do here. Kevin Byland, Brad Fullergart having a nice little battle as well. Down through they go, through Al Rouge and Radion, up the hill, onto the Camel. Look at Byland's run. He's already going to get there before he even gets onto the Camel.
Yeah, very much the case. And now it is going to be a side-by-side drag here between Julian Colbert and Kevin Byland. And Byland keeps the inside line. We've got three to go, including this one. Kevin Byland for the BWRT outfit in the number 19 from Sweden, holding on at the moment in front of the number 26. But they have got, they have got company not too far behind, in the form of Mehmet Tashi in the number 30. As up the inside. Just let him go, Eddie. Just let him go. Kevin Swemstra now through for 12th position as these drivers go through no name corner. And Kevin just decides, oh, I'll kick up some gravel whilst I'm at it, to say thank you very much, Eddie.
Yeah, that's
what he needed.
Yeah, I don't think Eddie really wanted that in his face, but he did end up getting it anyway. But he has dropped back and allowed these guys to go through, which is always good. It does look like Oscar Artinanu has had some form of drama. Fullergar and Kevin Byland are still fighting it out. Literally 2 laps to go. And at the moment, there's a good old strap going on, but there's not for the lead. Thomas Rejean and Tony Jimenez. But here we go. Fullergar and Byland once more into the bus stop.
Yeah, at over 150 miles an hour. No lifting in 6th gear. Then it's pedal to the metal. Then it's going to be hard on the brakes. Byland cutting across the front of Fullergar with plenty of room to spare into the bus stop. 2 laps to go. And Thomas Rejean looking to take the win. He's got a good gap of about 3.6 seconds over Tony Jimenez, with Yunus Amal rounding out your current top 3.
Yeah, they are at the moment. Great job, Danny Cornu, Krish Patel, Colbert, Byland, Fullergar, Taski and Ito rounding out the top 10 as these guys are continuing to scrap here. But it's great racing from Fullergar. It's great racing from Byland. Up through Al Rouge and Radion they go. Coming over the hill onto the Camel. Watch this from Fullergar. He's going to get a run here, Alex. He's going to be through over Kevin Byland. There is Byland there. And you can see Fulligar getting very, very close together. Careful, careful, boys. Don't be
Take
doing
a
that.
deep breath.
Yeah, they did go through. Byland manages to hold on and get back through again.
That was definitely squeaky bum time for for Brad Fulligar then. And I'm sure for Kevin Byland, but both of them deciding, well, we want to get a nice handful of points to close out the season. But in the meantime, Thomas Regien is 1.5 laps away from taking victory here in the final round of the season. And Tony Jimenez is just bringing that car home. Exactly what the SRP racing driver needed to do to secure the Season 2 crown. No one will be able to take that away from him. And he's done exactly everything he's needed to. He's got a 4.5 second gap over Yunus Amal. Bahadine Ayan now battling away with Lee Aberdeen and Robert Ridgway. This is for 16th spot as they head through into No Name Corner for the penultimate time. Bahadine Ayan for the Turkish Racing Formula team with the number 89 who qualified on pole position. It's been a race for the youngster for the young man from Turkey who unfortunately forget. But Lee Aberdeen trying to do everything he can to get through on Robert Ridgway, but Ridgway is making it increasingly difficult. But head on to our 22nd and final lap. White flag in the air. Thomas Regien is on course to pick up a win this season, and behind him, the man in second position, Tony Jimenez, the Spanish Matador, has done exactly what he needed to do. Thomas Regien has also taken a win earlier on this season. The first 3 rounds, Suzuka, Portimao, and Road America were taken by this man here. Jesper Sandström took the win at Hungaroring with Jakub Olszewski winning at Motegi. Simon Festi won at Hockenheimring and Phillip Island before Thomas Regien showed what he will be capable of in the next season by winning round 8 at the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. Sandström will pick up his second win of the season at the Circuit de Nevers-Magny-Cours as Kevin Byland gets passed by Brad Fulligar. Jesper Sandström will pick up his second win of the season at Magny-Cours. Boris Leisen would win at Silverstone, and Lee Aberdeen taking his only win of the season back on home soil at a track he will know like the back of his hand, Mount Panorama. But Thomas Regien has done everything right. He's been in the right place, right time, as these three still battle away over 7th, 8th and 9th. It's Fulligar, Byland and Tashi for P7.
Yeah, they're not letting up here. We're going to pick up at Thomas Regien as he comes through Blanchimont for the final time here, Alex. Great run from him, great racing from these guys, and a stunning race from Thomas. Just did an absolutely incredible job.
Started on the outside of the 4th row of the grid, was in the right place at the right time. Not only a winner back at round 8 at the Nürburgring, he will pick up the win here at Spa Francorchamps. But there's going to be a new champion to be crowned because he's making his way over the line very, very shortly. Thomas Regien goes through La Source for the 22nd and final time. The number 10 for Artendelia Racing Team will pick up the win here at Spa Francorchamps. But Tony Jimenez becomes your overall Season 2 iGPFun Super Formula Lights champion.
Yeah, great job from Tony, well deserved as well. This battle is not finished. Bylands are going to be alongside here. Fulligar going into the final corner. Oh, Kevin. Oh, mate.
Kevin's above.
Last corner, last lap. And he's beached. Byland's beached. But some may say calmer, but Byland is still beached. Fulligar goes over the line.
Meantime, Eddie Amos is going to pick up the 3500 title as he's crossed the line to finish 12th. The man from Wales, the Welsh Dragon, does the business in 3500 as there's more rafters going through into Radion. But Thomas Regien, but there is the celebration. Your Season 2 2025 iGPFun Super Formula Lights champion, the Spanish Matador from SRP Racing Team, Tony Jimenez, will go from number 11 to number 1 for season 3. Well deserved to that man.
Yeah, Eddie Amos trying to get the car to spin there, gave up in the end. He did one attempt and didn't go round, unfortunately for Eddie. And yes, Eddie, we did see that. But Tony Jimenez, well deserved. First win back at the beginning of the season, first win in ages. And then goes on and gets his second and third, and then he goes and gets a third, three third places. Three third places. He's had 4 second places and 3 first places over the season. A great job from Tony there. Just waiting for Gray to get over the line. As you can see, the final end of season donuts that customarily take place at a random part of this circuit. Well, they've chose at the base of the hill. So a great job from these guys, and there they all are. Absolutely stunning from all of them. It's been a great season for this one. Don't forget to join us next week for the race for Vimala here as well, because that's going to make a very, very interesting one. But here are the final championships, final standings of the race.
Thomas Regin picks up his 2nd win of the season. Tony Jimenez picks up his 4th second place, and with it becomes the Season 2 iGPFun Super Formula Lights League champion. Yunus Amal from Morocco, a credible 3rd place, was in the battle for the race lead. Finishes ahead of Dennis Cornu. Krish Patel, great job by the Ridgeway Racers Astronauts driver. Started 11th, finished P5 ahead of Julian Colbert, Mehmet Tashi, Koji Ito, Andy Flint and Brad Fullergal rounding out the top 10. Kevin Swemstra, a new 3500 series champion. Eddie Amos ran out the top 12. Head of Patrick Williams, Adam Telsma, and Lee Aberdeen, who recovered to finish. Incredible 15th, head of Kevin Byland, Ben Goyet, Bahadine Ayan, Dorian Arroyo, Oscar Artinano finishes 20th. Head of Andre Wyszykowski, Matthew Gracie, Chris Fales, Scott Taylor, Simon Aberg, Max Invictus, Robert Ridgway, Tibor Habiyard, Lewis Archer, Jakub Olajewski, David Butala, Alan van der Herve, Don McKenzie rounding out the 30 drivers. JP, what can you say? A cracking season finale and a really, really good place called Spa Francorchamps.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been an absolutely amazing season, and well done for Tony Jimenez for winning his first championship. Absolutely made up for the guy. Absolutely amazing. And I look forward to seeing how next season goes. But we've got the race for Vimala charity race coming up next week as well. Join us Sunday for that one. It's going to be absolutely amazing as well. But yep, stunning end to the season.
Yeah, keep your eyes peeled for Season 3 for the iGPFun Super Formula Lights League here live on the JP Broadcasting Network. And of course, we've got the Formula Giving, the race for the Vimala Centre in Mumbai in India, and that will be broadcasted live. You've been in the company of myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and James Parfitt here at the virtual recreation of the iconic Circuit de Spa Francorchamps, the iGPFun Super Formula Lights League Season 2 finale. Tony Jimenez takes total glory as a new champion to add to the honour roll list, and Eddie Amos picks up the 3500 crown and will take that title to Wales with a big smile on his face. Well, until next time, race hard, race fair, and if in doubt, well, you better go flat out. We'll see you next time for the race for Vimala. Next time, good night.